Local father uses this one weird trick to feel okay about his kids going to hell. I talk about religion online on TikTok, and one thing that comes up pretty frequently is Pascal's wager. You probably know about it, but basically it comes to if you believe and you're wrong, then that means your downsides are finite. All that happened is that you've lived your life, and then there is no afterlife, and that's it. But if you're a non-believer and you're wrong, then your potential downsides are infinite, because then you could live your life as if you don't believe and then spend eternity in hell, right? So the way the argument goes is that you should bet on the afterlife because your outcomes are better. It's ridiculous for a couple of reasons. But there is a standard response to that, but I was thinking, here's another one. If you want to go with the odds argument, then why does anyone ever have children? Because if you have children, then you're creating a consciousness, or at least bringing one into being on Earth, however we want to look at it. And you are taking a finite experience and risking that consciousness on the possibility that they will spend an eternity in hell. So if you're serious about playing the odds, then nobody should ever have children. So that's what I think is a downside to Pascal's wager. That I feel like I thought of. I hope I thought of it. I don't remember seeing it anywhere else. So I'd been wanting to run it on somebody, and I was talking to someone named Banana Clip in my lives. And I brought it up, and I sort of didn't. What do you expect when you do these talks? Like, are you really going to go, you've convinced me now I'm an atheist? Or, that's never going to happen. But I am going to say I certainly didn't really expect it to go the way that it did. Transition!
Well, my advice would be, if there's something for free that could save your life, I don't see why you wouldn't think about it. I mean, it's something definitely to contemplate.
Well, you're talking about Pascal's wager, aren't you? Pascal's wager comes down to your odds of being correct for an eternity of benefit. Seems like that you should go. The odds say you should go with the positive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then why does anyone ever have children?
Because it's an enjoyment, believe it or not. Because I have children myself, and it's actually enjoyable.
Oh, so okay, but the thing is, are you assured that all your children are going to go to heaven?
When they're up to a certain age, yes, they're guaranteed heaven. Yeah.
And how can you possibly be sure of that?
Because the scripture says so.
Scripture says that your children are going to heaven?
Every children's going to heaven. No matter where he is, no matter what he is, every child is going to heaven.
I'm a children.
No, you're an adult with rationale. You can choose right and wrong.
Okay, so your children are going to.
A child can't.
So your children are going to grow up, and they're going to be adults, and they have a rationale about right or wrong, and they are not assured to go to heaven.
No, once they reach that rationale point, no, they're not assured. No.
Right. Okay. So you are taking your enjoyment, your limited, finite enjoyment, and taking the risk that you would have created a consciousness that will spend an eternity in torment. So if you're going to talk about like the percentages, the chances of things, it seems like that you are taking a very small amount of enjoyment and betting against it that your kids aren't going to suffer eternal torment. That's
a very good analogy. But who told you I created them? I never created anything.
You had the choice, right? You didn't have to make children. If you're saying you made children for your enjoyment with the risk that they're going to go to hell for eternity, it seems like that you're making a very big choice for them that is based on just what you think is pleasurable.
I guess there's more to it than just pleasure then. I mean,
I don't care what the rationale is, though, because it still basically comes down to, if you're going to go with Pascal's wager, if you're going to say, well, you might as well believe because your little chance of being correct results in a possible eternity of, heaven. The other side is true as well. You should never have had, if you believe that, you should never have had children, because then there is a very small chance that this consciousness that you are responsible in creating or bringing into this world, however you want to phrase it, there is a chance that this consciousness will spend an eternity of torment, and you've done that. So if you want to talk about the odds, you need to think about the other side of that and what your personal responsibility in that is.
Yeah, but in my paradigm, in my religious belief, children are actually a test, and there's a great reward in having children. So if I bring a child up right and they end up believing and doing good in this earth, I get vastly rewarded in it.
Yeah. And then
So
if you were wrong, or the thing is, are you going to say that every parent is entirely involved in what the outcomes of their children are?
not every parent, no, of course not.
So then that means that despite your best efforts, not you, but despite a parent's best efforts, it is still possible that that parent could be responsible for bringing a consciousness into the world that in the end, from one reason or another, is doomed to eternity of torment.
But the question doesn't lie there. The question lies is, was that child? Did you try your best with that child? Is the question.
I know, and then, but that's you. Can I ask you to step outside your mind for a minute? Because what I'm saying is, whatever you're,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever you impart on your children, what I'm saying is, if you're talking about odds, then you've created a finite experience for a consciousness on Earth with the risk of that finite consciousness spending an eternity in torment. Right? So whatever your reasons or
Yeah.
rationale or how good you were at it, the truth is, if we're going to talk about the odds, you have risked dooming someone to eternity just for bringing them into existence.
Yeah, but I done it at a risk to benefit myself,
Yeah, yes, you have.
because I told you there's reward in
Yeah, good. You
bringing
have
children
you have
up.
decided
Yeah, yeah.
to take a risk.
So there's selfishness in my part then. There's
Yeah,
definitely selfishness.
yeah, I know. All right, good. Thanks. We got down to the end of that. I think I'm going to move on to somebody else. I think I lost banana clip. Yeah, well. That's fun. I've been looking forward to use that on somebody for Pascal's wager. And actually, it landed more or less where we expected. That he had to admit that, yes, for his own personal finite happiness and well being, he chose to bring a consciousness onto Earth with the risk of that consciousness being doomed to eternal torment. So that went about as well as I could have expected, actually. That was the video.